Every story has a beginning, and I don't know where this really begins, except I know in May the 19th, 1970, I came home to Jesus after a rock and roll career and lots of smoking dope, and come home to my wife, and she forgave me for 3.5 years of unfaithfulness, and we began to follow Jesus. And it was hard, it was trying, it was beautiful, but in 1976, something happened that wrecked my heart, my life. She had made several trips to the physician, her gynecologist, her female doctor, and he said, Linda, there's some problems. The long and short was, she had cancer of the uterus, and what was necessary was to have a hysterectomy, a surgery to remove all the female organs. And I wasn't so concerned about that because we had 2 daughters and we had enough, and I didn't want any more children anyway, because I figured some of the drugs I did, why risk having a child deformed? And 2 weeks before the scheduled hysterectomy, a prophetic man, because back in those days in the 70s, nobody was known as a prophet, but a very prophetic man called me and said, I need to see you. Something happened that's life-changing. He would go to a baseball field where there was some swings, kind of a playground, and he would go there in the evening and intercede. Retired school teacher, he prayed hours. He said, last night I was on a baseball field and Jesus just suddenly appeared in front of me. I'd never had that happen before. I was shocked, and the Lord said, it's okay, Kermit, but I have a message I want you to tell my servant, Ken Helser. I want you to tell him first, I've healed his seed, and I have never told anybody the reason I didn't even want any more children is I was concerned about the drugs I did. And here's a man that I barely had known only one other time saying, Jesus said, I've healed your seed. And you're going to have a son, and his name will be Johnathan David, and he will play the harp. He will sing like an angel, and he will write prophetic songs for his generation, and his music will go out all over the earth. Now, when you're 2 weeks from hysterectomy, that's dramatic. And I said, God, is this you? And it grew in my heart, and I never knew I wanted a son so badly. And in a short amount of time, my wife and I are praying and telling the gynecologist, can you do one more test? On a Sunday, I anointed her with oil, prayed for her, and it wasn't dramatic. But during that prayer, my wife touched the hem of Jesus' garment. On Friday, with the scheduled hysterectomy on Monday, they did a D&C, and that's when they go in and scrape the womb. The test came back on Saturday, and when the doctor came down the hall whistling, we said, that's a good sign. He stuck his head in the door and said, the pathologist is baffled. He's consulted me 3 times saying this is not the same woman. Ken, your wife is 200% okay. We got pregnant with a little boy who was named Johnathan David. And he was all boy. He never showed any interest in music. He just loved to play sports. I don't care if it was a ball, he was into it. But at 19 years of age, graduating from high school, he came in my room one night and he said, Daddy, didn't you used to play guitar? See, we never told him the whole thing. We told him, God healed your mommy, we had a baby. We didn't tell him what he was going to be doing with her. Because, did you used to play guitar? Can you teach me some chords? And so we sent him off to Nuneaton, YWAM in England with a guitar and a Bible. I came to visit him in November. And on the last night before we were returning home, some of the kids said, you should hear some of Jonathan's worship. I said, Johnathan, I got a little cassette replayer, and I know your sisters love to hear you. You're playing guitar better. He said, yeah, play a song, Daddy. And he played the song, and I went, oh my gosh, who wrote that? And he said to me now, he says, I'll never forget the look on your face, because you had waited 19, well really 20 years for a word of a prophet to become reality. We will dance in your palace all our days. We'll sing in your temple with all our praise. We'll shout down the walls in the name of your Son, because we will overcome. We will overcome. I said, Johnathan, You wrote that. I said, the first song you wrote is the prophecy of your entire life. My generation, the 60s, the hippies, we threw away our inheritance. We wasted what God gave us. It's your generation to take back what my generation destroyed. You're going to take back the land, and you're going to do it through the power of worship. And so it is that here I am, 71 years old, and it used to be, oh, Johnathan David, Ken Helser's your daddy. No more. You're Johnathan David's daddy? Oh, that can't be. I just say, I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.